China, a land older than history itself, a civilization so vast, so deep, and so enduring that its story stretches back over 5,000 years. From mythical emperors and bronze dynasties to the rise of Confucianism, from the flames of civil war to the skyscrapers of the 21st century. This is the full, sweeping story of the Middle Kingdom, the entire history of China, from ancient to modern. China's story begins along the banks of the Yellow River, the cradle of Chinese civilization. As early as 7000 BCE, early settlers formed agricultural communities, cultivating millet and domesticating animals. By 3000 BCE, cultures such as the Yangqiao and Longshan had emerged, pioneers in pottery, silk weaving, and walled settlements. Legend speaks of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, semi-divine rulers who tamed floods, taught farming, and set the moral code. While myth and history blur, one thing is clear: China's roots run deeper than nearly any other nation on Earth. By around 1600 BCE, the Shang dynasty rose to power, China's first historically confirmed dynasty. Masters of bronze and ritual, the Shang built walled cities and palaces, ruled through noble clans, and communed with ancestors through oracle bones, early forms of Chinese writing. Society was hierarchical, ritual ruled life, and kings were divine intermediaries between earth and heaven. The Shang laid the spiritual and political foundations that would echo for millennia. In 1046 BCE, the Zhou overthrew the Shang, introducing a revolutionary idea: the mandate of heaven. A king's right to rule was not absolute, it depended on virtue. The spring and autumn period gave rise to hundreds of feuding states. Natural disasters, famine, or rebellion could signal heaven's disapproval. But as power decentralized, China fractured. Amid the chaos, great thinkers emerged: Confucius, Laozi, and Sun Tzu, whose philosophies shaped not only China, but the entire world. Into 21 BCE, after centuries of war, one man conquered all. Qin Shi Huang, China's first emperor. He unified writing, currency, weights, and measures. He built roads, walls, and canals. And he crushed dissent with an iron fist. His legacy. The name China comes from Qin, but his rule was brief. The dynasty collapsed just 15 years later. Still, he left behind a unified empire and a terracotta army standing guard for eternity. The Silk Road carried silk, spices, and ideas westward. Paper was invented, bureaucracy became refined. In 206 BCE, the Han Dynasty rose, and with it, China entered a golden age. The empire stretched across Central Asia. Confucianism became state orthodoxy, and China began to see itself not just as a country, but as the center of civilization itself. Zhongguo, the Middle Kingdom. The Han legacy would shape Chinese identity for the next 2,000 years. When the Han fell into 20 CE, China splintered once again. For 4 centuries, it was a land of warlords, foreign invasions, and shifting dynasties. But amid the darkness, a light arrived from India: Buddhism. Its temples and teachings spread like wildfire, bringing solace and reshaping Chinese spirituality. This was an age of division, but it was also an age of cultural fusion. Foreign traders, musicians, and monks mingled in its streets. In 581, the Sui briefly reunited China and began massive infrastructure projects like the Grand Canal. Then came the Tang Dynasty, arguably China's greatest era. Art, literature, and cosmopolitanism flourished. Cheng'an became the largest city on earth. Poets like Li Bai and Du Fu captured the soul of a people. And China stood, once again, as the shining beacon of Asia. From 960 to 1279, the Song Dynasty brought unmatched innovation. They developed printing, paper money, gunpowder weapons, and a vibrant urban economy. By 1368, the Chinese people rose in rebellion, and the yuan fell. The arts reached new heights. Scholars, not warriors, held power. But military weakness plagued the state. Eventually, the Song fell to a rising force from the north, the Mongols. In 1271, Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, founded the Yuan dynasty, the first foreign dynasty to rule all of China. The empire stretched from Korea to Europe, trade flourished, and a Venetian named Marco Polo brought tales of China to Europe, but the Mongols struggled to govern. Unequal treaties, the Taiping Rebellion, and a crumbling court unable to reform, the Ming dynasty restored Chinese rule and grandeur. They built the Forbidden City, reinforced the Great Wall, and under Admiral Zheng He, launched massive voyages across the Indian Ocean. But soon, China turned inward. Isolation took hold. Foreign contact became restricted. The seeds of stagnation were sown. In 1644, the Manchus swept in and founded the Qing, the last imperial dynasty. At its peak, the Qing ruled over 400 million people. Japan invaded, and civil war raged between nationalists and communists. But the 19th century brought disaster. The Opium Wars. China was humiliated, carved by foreign powers, and pushed into decline. Markets revived, cities exploded, poverty fell. In 1911, after 2,000 years of imperial rule, the Qing collapsed. Revolutionaries led by Sun Yat-sen declared a republic. But unity proved elusive. Warlords ruled. In 1949, Mao Zedong declared victory. The People's Republic of China was born. The communist era brought land reform, industrialization, and catastrophe. The Great Leap Forward led to famine. The Cultural Revolution shattered traditions, yet China endured. And after Mao's death, change was on the horizon. In the 1980s, Deng Xiaoping opened China's doors. In just decades, China transformed from a rural nation into a global economic superpower. Today, it's the world's second largest economy, a spacefaring nation, and a leader on the world stage. From the Yellow River to the stars, from bronze chariots to bullet trains, China's history is one of invention, tragedy, and renewal. It is not one story but 1,000. And it is still being written. This is the story of China. Ancient to modern, enduring, evolving, eternal. Thank you for listening. See you to next episode.